It's a big investment.
My name's Beef and I'm naked.
Oh, no.
You gonna eat those Twinks?
Oh, Dispatch, one of my favorite games of the year, with the stellar cast including Aaron Paul and Charles White, aka the man who was in Hunger Games, as well as other people like Jack and Young Gravy, Dot Squad. This cast is incredible. But in terms of the review, where do I even begin? First, let me say there are some spoilers. This review does have them, but I suggest watching someone play it or you play yourself before coming back. I will not be going over super major story beats, but I will give a short summary of the game in just a second. First, let me say, as much as I love Telltale games, I wasn't even really interested in playing the game until I saw a clip in episode 1 during the bar scene where you choose between picking water or alcohol to put on flambe. And honestly, that was enough to hook me in, and I started playing, and here we are. Dispatch is made by Ad Hoc Studios, which is actually formed by a lot of previous Telltale peeps, including those who made The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. But for the short summary itself, it's pretty simple. I'll just give you what you need to understand my opinion. Robert Robertson, who is known as the hero Mecha Man, loses the mecha suit in pursuit of avenging his father during a standoff with a team of supervillains led by Shroud, the man who killed him. From here, he is down on his luck with nothing to lose, put out of commission. But then an opportunity arrives when a famous superhero, Blonde Blazer, offers him a chance to be Mecha Man again. She offers him a spot to be a dispatcher at SDN in exchange for repairing and remaking his suit. The thing is, he needs to help the Z-Team, also known as the Phoenix Program, a messy band of reformed supervillains wanting to become actual legit heroes. And the story explores the messy relationships between everyone. Obviously, the ending depends on what you did during your time playing in the game. I'm not going to go super heavy into plot details because it is definitely one of those games you should play yourself eventually. However, I will be going over a specific part of the games like actions and important dialogues. So keep that in mind. This game is a masterclass of how simple decisions can have a devastating impact on the story, the people around you, and how it is perceived to be via music and the relationships between your character and the other characters. This game also knows how to pull your heartstrings. I started crying with that one scene of Chase and Invisible. I was so pissed, like I wanted to kill Shroud, but when it came to it, I realized if I killed him, I would be no better, so I spared him. For my first playthrough, I went in absolutely blind. I knew nothing, and all 8 episodes had already been released by the time I started playing. So my major decisions the first time around went something like this. Throw alcohol on Flambe, kiss Blazer, fired Coop, yes, just because I wanted to hear Charlie more and he was a more interesting character. Chose to add Phenomenon, chose to go the Invisigal route, just because Blazer got out of a relationship. Told the gang I was Mecha Man, kept Invisigal in the group, spared Shroud, and forgave Coop and brought her back in. This game has so many good details. For example, one decision involves Robert and Blonde Blazer. If you choose to kiss her in episode 1, at the end of episode 2 when Phenomenon hovers in, this music plays.
Blonde Blazer. Are you ready to go?
However, if instead you choose to not kiss her, this plays instead.
Are you ready to go?
Another good one is when you romance Blazer. If you say you want to go on another date with Mandy, from then on it would say Mandy will remember that instead of Blonde Blazer will remember that. Another one I actually didn't catch until my second or third time through was when you put water on Flambe, he falls and chips his tooth, right? From all cutscenes forward, including his art, the tooth is missing. Look at the bar scene when you choose alcohol, look at the bar scene when you choose water. His tooth is gone, as well as in his art, like the flame on art. His tooth is missing. I thought that was pretty cool, nice little attention to detail. And there's a fact that you have to intentionally fail things, like the boat scene, in order to get the bad mentor ending. Speaking of the bad mentor ending and Vizzy, let's talk about Vizzy for a little bit specifically. I mean, wow, Vizzy is an amazing character! Yeah, you can't exactly talk about Vizzy without mentioning the huge split in the crowd. Team Vizzy! She like fucking sexually harasses you several times. But she's hot! I'm gonna kill you! Oh, shit. Well, I personally find Vizzy a very interesting character. I know that many won't. Find that Vizzy is my most relatable character because being a little vulnerable, I also struggle with my identity and feeling like I don't belong sometimes. Even when something nice happens to me, sometimes it feels like I don't deserve it. Ignoring the harassment part for now, she is the best written character. Her dialogue is grounded, realistic, and it feels like something an actual person would say. Honestly, I feel like sometimes she has more character growth compared to Robert. I keep going back to that swing scene. It was perfectly written and shows off Fvck's and Robert's true personality. She gets so emotionally vulnerable while still keeping up her mask, just a little bit. Skipping to the end, getting the bad mentor ending makes me feel like a really big piece of shit. I kept feeling awful every time I made choices against Fvck's betterment. I'm sorry, she's just right there. Yeah, how old are you? I can fight sexually. Both of you, stop! We all know the right choice is Malevola. Oh yeah, Malevola, good choice. I wish you was real.
I'm pretty sure that was an inside thought, buddy.
Going on to the group as a whole, you have the major players, also known as the Z team. First, you've got Sonar, voiced by Moist Critical.
Pulling his cock out!
He is a bat who transforms between beast and human mode, and he's a bat despite the fact he has human hands. Flambe. He has fire powers. That's it. You've got Fvck, who I would argue is the second main character and is the most integral to the plot. Obviously, she can turn invisible. You've got Coop, who is a mercenary. She can fly and she has wings made of knives. And she was sent to kill Punch Up one day, but they stopped and they started a romantic relationship. Speaking of Punch Up, who was voiced by Jacksepticeye, made a deal with the sorceress and gave him the strength of 10 men. While his muscles grew, his body shrunk, which results in him possessing the strength of 10 men and half the height of 1. And then you've got Malevola, who is one of my personal favorites, big, tall, muscle demon mommy.
It would have been me, not him! It's not fair!
She's one of the more mature and level-headed people of the cast, and she is usually bonded together with the Sonar. And then you've got Golem, a sentient earth construct voiced by Young Gravy. He's pretty chill and he's huge. And last but certainly not least, you've got Prism. She's got like light powers or some shit. I don't really think she was too popular until episode 5, but since then she's become a fan favorite.
She temporarily blinded me!
What you mean temporarily? Bitch, you blind forever!
And yep, that's really all the main characters, with the exception of Waterboy and Phenomenon. Well, you have a choice at the end of episode 3. You need to choose between cutting Sonar or cutting Coop. Most people choose to cut Coop because they want to keep Sonar. Because it's Charlie and his lines are pretty funny, but honestly, I think Coop is pretty useful. She can also fly. Especially considering on my second run, I cut Fvck and I needed that mobility. I think I actually struggled less the second time because I knew what I was going in, and I cut Sonar and had a consistent source of intelligence, which was actually Malevola. One thing I was kind of disappointed about the game was the fact that the Zine team they will remember this. Feel like empty promises. You can send Punch Up to fight in a tournament and then send Coop in or ask Punch Up to toughen it out. There's no other dialogues after this moment, but when Coop mentions about him having a special technique.
He's got a special move.
Same with Sonar when he goes to the Vanderstank meeting to pitch ideas. Yes, he's thankful and you get a shot of him shaking his hand, but then it leads up nowhere afterwards. Vanderstank does get mentioned a couple of times throughout the story, but it's more of like missions that you go through. But those are small minor details because they happen in the actual dispatching part of your job. Did you know Vizzy canonically pegs? Yes, you won't stop mentioning it. I struggled a little bit at first, but you get the hang of it eventually. It really sucks that there's no endless dispatching mode because it's definitely one of the best parts of the game. It's really fun, especially the final part. It's just kind of like a 911 dispatcher, but it's just superheroes instead. There's this one really funny part later on where once Father comes back from the hospital, you see Malevola being sent back from Sunday school.
Oh, I'm no dispatch dude, but I don't know if sending Malevola to sub at Sunday school was the move.
Yeah, Blonde Blazer do not know how to handle that. You can have this woman's client with a large, ridiculous coffee order in the middle of a citywide attack. Not to mention it's during the big battle at the end, and if you miss it or fail it, the city is hurt. The city has a health bar. Oh no! I didn't get the coffee order right. Half of my way is gone. Oh! Overall, while it is not exactly groundbreaking in terms of gameplay, it is a breath of fresh air in terms of what's come out recently. We haven't had a game come out like this in a very long time. The characters are new, they feel realistic, and they're not copies of each other, which, you know, is kind of hard to say for some other games. The voice acting is great, delivery is just, mwah, Twink's kiss.
You gonna eat those Twinks?
That's not what they're... You know what? Help yourself.
Fantastic. I still love watching new, innovative, and exciting superhero stuff as much as the genre is a bit oversaturated now, but I still get excited for new Marvel movie releases, because I'm just that kind of person. And the audience still want it too. I mean, look at the Superman movie. But a second season of the show seems likely, considering that they hit their 3-year sales mark in like 2 months. I feel like I'm forgetting something though. Did I not? No, I forgot them. Come on, come back in, you guys. But I'm still eating my burrito. And I'm warming up my mac and cheese. No, right now. Come on. Ugh. Fine. That's better. Alright, time to leave. Well, that about wraps everything up. Sure glad that isn't my car. But man, Flambe's gonna be pissed. Why does he need to drive anyway? He can fly. I'm such a fucking